Before us is Hayley, a young 20-year-old girl, a healer, who signs a decree stating that she is leaving the palace. She addresses Emperor Demian Lucius, the ruler of the country where the action takes place. Demian examines the statement that Hayley wants to leave him. Hayley doesn't want to back down no matter what. Hayley decided to leave the castle because she believed everyone hated her. But suddenly the emperor rejects her request to leave. The emperor tells Hayley that her leaving the palace is impossible. The emperor approaches her and tells her that she must remember their agreement. The emperor tells her that the girl's departure is possible if she is ill or has suffered an accident. The emperor says that the contract can be terminated, and the girl understands that he has destroyed all the provisions. The emperor smiles slyly at her, standing above her. The emperor tells her that her back has not become hunchbacked. The girl's hair is shiny, according to the emperor. The emperor says Hayley has no contract breaks. Hayley realizes that she will not accept the prince's refusal. The emperor tells her that he was careful when drawing up the treaty. The girl closes her eyes from the radiance emanating from the emperor. Hayley was determined that she would leave the castle and no one would stop her. But Hayley can't leave the castle because the emperor is too handsome. A few months ago, it was an ordinary day when Hayley decided to be woken up by her maid. The maid asks Hayley to give the antidote to the emperor quickly. We are shown Hayley. She is beautiful with platinum hair and sky blue eyes. Cecile realizes that Hayley has forgotten her and yells at her mistress. Hayley looks around the room. It's some kind of library. Hayley looks around the room. It's some kind of library. Cecile says they have to go and Hayley asks her to slow down. Hayley decides to ask the girl again what her name is. Cecile is surprised that her mistress doesn't remember anything. She tells Hayley that she is the healer of Emperor Demian Lucius Claros. The girl realizes with horror that the emperor himself is waiting for her. The manhwa takes place in the yaoi novel Swamp of Attachment, where the main character is Emperor Demian Lucius Kronos. He has the magical ability of monarch's protection. His ability made everyone suffer, but he met a young man named Joshua. The emperor and Joshua fell in love with each other, and the emperor was no longer alone. Our heroine is reborn in this novel, and she realizes with horror that the healer, that is, her, will soon be killed. Our heroine is reborn in this novel, and she realizes with horror that the healer, that is, her, will soon be killed. Cecile drags the heroine by the skin, believing that they will be late for the meeting with His Highness. The heroine is scared. She doesn't want to die so early. She recalls the events of the novel and remembers how the emperor ordered the healer to be killed. She recalls the events of the novel and remembers how the emperor ordered the healer to be killed. The girl sadly realizes that the end of her life has come. She goes to the emperor's chambers with the antidote, awaiting her fate. She goes to the emperor's chambers with the antidote, awaiting her fate. Her hands are shaking, but the tincture with the antidote is ready. Hayley trusts that the emperor will not scold her for being late. She smiles tenderly and announces that she has brought medicine. The emperor slowly rises in his bed. Hayley realizes that the emperor is simply ignoring her. She decides to leave the medicine and just get out of sight. Hayley politely inquires about the emperor's condition. Hayley believes that the emperor has a difficult character. But when she thinks that the emperor is terrible and ugly, it turns out that the opposite is true with him. The emperor is handsome and muscular, like Apollo from Greek mythology, and he demands his medicine. Hayley can't take her eyes off his abs. The emperor abruptly snatches the antidote from her hands. He drinks it down in one gulp, showing off his gorgeous figure to the readers. But then the medicine makes him feel sick. The emperor abruptly grabs the girl by the hand when she wants to leave. The doors behind her close abruptly and with a bang. The emperor takes the girl in his arms and she ends up on his lap. Hayley points out that the emperor is in excellent physical shape. Hayley believes that the emperor is the living embodiment of beauty. Hayley worriedly asks the emperor what's wrong with him. The emperor hugs her and falls asleep in her arms, thinking that she is a futon. Hayley finds herself in a situation where a man hugs her for the first time. She closes her eyes in bliss and stays with him for the night. They remain alone and fall asleep together. Morning comes unexpectedly and illuminates the whole place. We are shown a palace in the spirit of Versailles, where Emperor Demian sits writing documents. He carefully studies the file on the girl, the healer, Hayley. His servant in full dress uniform says that everything is exactly as it should be. The emperor demands that his servant bring the healer to him. Haley fears that the attentive emperor will expose her as a time traveler. We are shown a palace with high towers and curls. Cecile tells Haley that she was barely found, and the emperor reluctantly took the medicine. Cecile scolds the heroine, but she doesn't care. Haley suddenly finds herself under the emperor's spell. She realizes with horror that at this rate, she will definitely be killed. She found a bunch of important documents, but nothing about Haley's past. Haley realizes that the girl in whose body she is a terrible workaholic. Cecile is horrified. Her mistress remembers nothing of her past life. Cecile scolds Haley for her frequent amnesia, and she decides to take advantage of this and find out about the healer's past. Haley really believes that Cecile will buy into the lie. Cecile doesn't agree for a long time and then decides to tell her everything. Cecile tells the heroine that she works under Mr. Ravencia, a pharmacist who delivers herbs to the Western continent. Cecile says that the emperor has already executed many healers. The reason for all this is that most of them were enemy spies and assassins. Haley has been given the great mission of curing the prince of the illness caused by his monarch's protection ability. Haley realizes she's in trouble because she can't create the potion without knowledge. Suddenly, someone enters the room and demands that Haley appear before the emperor. The one who came was a handsome young man in a uniform and glasses. Haley is worried that the emperor wants to see her. Haley is glad that Cecile is there to fill her in on everything that's going on. Haley can hide behind a reliable person like Cecile. In fact, Cecile helps the girl because she is having trouble finding a new mistress. Cecile ignores Haley and leads her to the guy. Haley doesn't know if she can save herself from Demian. We are shown a palace similar to the one in St. Petersburg. Demian dresses in a uniform-like suit. He clenches his hand into a strong, healthy fist. Demian recalls being told as a child not to trust anyone. Demian decides to find out what kind of person our heroine is. Haley and the emperor's servant come through the door and greet him. The servant says he brought Haley to him. Haley decides to pull herself together and not repeat her mistakes. The emperor is silent for a long time and does not look at Haley. And then he turns sharply to her and smiles the widest smile. Haley notes that he looks even more handsome up close. The emperor invites Haley in and tells her that she used to live in a border village. Haley sits down and says that everything is correct. The emperor tells her that he can't forget last night, and he has a couple of questions for Haley. The emperor sits down and asks if Haley will tell him about herself. Haley doesn't understand why the emperor is interested in this. Haley realizes that she knows nothing about herself. The emperor says he is interested in meeting a girl at the palace academy, and Haley asks him to stop. Haley tells him that she wants to answer his questions, but she was carried away by the experiment and does not remember anything about herself. Haley guiltily admits to the prince that she doesn't remember anything about herself. She says that she can do nothing to help His Majesty. The emperor answers the girl with a very gloomy look. Haley quickly tells him that her memories will return soon. The emperor asks what she remembers and what she doesn't remember. The emperor gives her a week to remember the recipe for the suppressant, and Haley is surprised. The emperor tells her that he heard that she is famous for her intelligence and that her memory will soon return to her. Haley is scared and watches his movements. The emperor asks Haley if she can make a new batch of the medicine. Haley, horrified, tells him that it's impossible. But in fact, she agreed and is now preparing medicine for the young man. Luckily, she picked up the bottle and her muscle memory kicked in. Thanks to her hands, Haley realized that she could help even simple maids. Haley realizes that this is not enough to create the potion. She accidentally knocks over the books that are lying in a stack. The girl suddenly realizes that she has found some kind of letter. In the letter, the girl found an inscription: fog, a banquet, no traces. She understands that they are talking about some tears of fog, a poison that disappears like fog, and in the novel a certain stranger was looking for it. Haley thinks she has been reincarnated as a spy at the imperial palace. She burns the letter and eliminates all traces of espionage. She understands that there is very little time left until the end of the week. The next day, we are shown the palace and its gates. Someone gets out of a carriage that has pulled up to the palace. It turns out to be a short man with a dull look, Rovencia. He sees someone rushing at full speed. It turns out to be Haley, who is running as fast as she can towards Rovencia. But he greets Haley rudely and demands that she wash his clothes. He also demands that she take off his coat and give it to the wash. Haley realizes that Rowentia doesn't get along with her, who knows that she has lost her memory. Haley tells Rowentia that she served the prince with zeal, but Rowentia thinks she does everything for attention. Rowentia says that if the girl screws up next time, she'll be in trouble. Cecile is confused with Haley about why he asked for help. Haley asks Cecile why he's so mean, and Cecile says she didn't even ask. Cecile explains that Rowentia is afraid of losing her job as a pharmacist because of Haley's outstanding skills. Then, Cecile says that now Haley has lost her memory and how Rowentia will get along with her. Haley realizes she will have to make the medicine herself. Rowentia scolds the girl and says that the laboratory is dusty and demands that she clean up. He demands that she dry the herbs and lay them out by evening. Haley thinks she's just a simple handyman. She says she has nothing against it. Haley is cleaning up, but she can't concentrate and gets scolded by Rowentia. Rowentia is very demanding. Before the girl has even started cleaning, he is already demanding the laid-out herbs. Then, Rowentia throws the vials at the girl because she brought the wrong vials. Rowentia then forces the girl to stir the potion for 9 hours. Haley is shocked by what Rowentia is forcing her to do. Haley realizes she only has 3 days and needs to find the recipe quickly. Rowentia demands that she open the window because it is hot in the office. Haley realizes that the hot weather is not what she expected. Rowentia suddenly turns to her and says that the weather is hot today. Rowentia must be in a good mood, and Haley decided to ask about the medicine. She tells Rowentia about the suppressant potion, and there is dead silence. Rowentia looks at her with irritation and asks how such an incompetent person could be entrusted with such a serious task. Haley tells Rowentia that she will only bring the medicine Rowentia made. Rowentia tells her that he will prepare the potion in 2 days, and the girl is counting on him. Rowentia gives her a list of ingredients for the medicine. Haley decides to ask Rowentia one question. We are shown a palace in the St. Petersburg style with high domes. Haley finishes brewing the potion after 10 o'clock at night. She almost missed the deadline, but it's almost ready. Suddenly, Haley sees a figure in the garden where she is sitting. In front of her stands the Emperor in black pajamas. Haley is hiding. She doesn't want to be seen. She believes that he will pass by, but the Emperor notices her. The Emperor leans over her and asks what she is doing here. Haley justifies herself by saying that she was simply admiring the tiles in the garden. Haley says she didn't think the Emperor had great taste. The Emperor tells her that she should praise his ancestors for building the castle. The Emperor asks her in surprise if she is avoiding him, and then the Emperor asks how things are going with the medicine. Haley reassures him that she is getting older and everything is fine. But suddenly the Emperor stops her when she runs away. The Emperor invites the girl to attend a banquet celebrating the founding of the empire. Haley is shocked. She didn't know the Emperor liked her. The Emperor informs her that there will be excellent appetizers at the banquet. A servant approaches them and asks the Emperor to come to him. Haley wishes that everything would be well with the Emperor. Haley notes that the novella is full of handsome boys. Haley realizes that everything is going well. Haley realizes that everything is not so bad in this world. The Emperor walks and laughs. The servant asks what is going on. The Emperor tells him that Haley is quite funny. The servant asks what is funny about the top of her head. Haley is the first to avoid the Emperor. The Emperor just can't forget Haley. We are shown the St. Petersburg Palace again. Haley spent the whole night in front of Rowentia's office. Suddenly, Haley smells a pleasant aroma. Haley realizes that the cherry blossoms have blossomed and she doesn't want to be stuck in a boring office. She decides that she should be patient for a little while and then she will go to the banquet. She doesn't notice how some figure is sneaking up on her. A cloaked figure knocks a girl off her feet. The girl scolds the figure in the cloak. It was very rude of the stranger. Haley wonders where the figure was even looking. But when she turns to Rowentia about her figure, he freezes in shock. He is clutching something tightly in his hand, in some kind of bag. Rowentia informs her that he has just shared the herbs. Rowencia tells a shocked Haley that she needs to go to the sanatorium. Rowencia tells her that the hospital will need to be supplied with medicine regularly, and Haley asks where it is. After some time, Haley has difficulty finding the hospital. Haley is confused about where the building is when she arrives at her destination. Haley decides to ask a man who is passing by. Haley asks the knight for help in finding the infirmary. The knight turns out to be handsome, reddish golden hair, amber eyes, masculine features. Haley is shocked that even the extras here are beautiful, and she asks where the asylum is. But the knight is silent, and Haley does not understand why. The man asks the girl if she is looking for a hospital and promises to take her there. He tells Haley how to get to the asylum. The knight escorts the girl through the corridors. A beautiful landscape stretches out before Haley's eyes. It's like Haley is underwater in this hospital. The knight says that the trees are infested with pests. Haley can't smell the trees because they are infested with pests. The knight escorted Haley to the hospital. He tells Haley that he wouldn't mind seeing her again. Haley is happy that such handsome boys are here, and someone from behind asks her if the medicine is ready. In front of the girl is some Muslim Shahid, who turns out to be Callium, the palace physician. Callium says that only a crazy Rowentius could have made the medicine. Callium tells her that Rowentia is rude to others and never prepares medicine on time. Callium tells her that Rowentia is like a snake and sympathizes with her. How can she work with such a bastard? Haley believes she has found someone she can talk to. Then the man sits down. He looks tired. We are shown a hospital that looks like the buildings in Sicily, and a man tells the girl that she needs to rest. We are shown the corridors and windows of the building where Haley works. Haley returns home and asks Rowencia if she has any errands to run. Rowencia orders her to clean the room. The girl looks at the medicine in shock. It is an inhibitor. Haley praises Rowencia for preparing the inhibitor on time. Haley is glad her relationship with the nasty Rowencia has improved. In the evening, the healer dresses in an evening white and purple dress and goes to a banquet. The girl happily notes that the cherry blossoms are beautiful, and quite a few people have gathered at the banquet. But Haley is interested in a fancy cake, probably the only handsome man in this manhwa. Haley sees chickens, lobsters with lemons, and strawberry cake and flies towards the delicious treats. Serve lemon and pomegranate with salt and sugar. Haley happily eats treats. She is happy about such a nice day. Some lady dressed to the nines says that someone will come soon. The girls are discussing some nobleman, saying that he defeated the barbarians and that he will attend the banquet. The one they were discussing was Duke Ares, the knight who had helped Haley today. Haley is shocked that Ares is also an archduke, not just a knight. Ares, according to the novel, is the one who fell in love with Joshua and decided to use him. Ares greets Haley and he is glad to see her here. Ares asks Haley if she completed the task, and she is shocked that such a handsome man approaches her. Haley quickly apologizes to Ares, but he says everything is fine. However, Ares is a little offended that there are those in the palace who do not know him. Haley feels like she's going to be killed alive by the novel's main villain, and Ares is informed that the Dowager Empress wants to see him. Ares hands her a handkerchief to dry herself. Haley accepts the handkerchief, feeling awkward about getting treats all over her. Haley is shocked that the novel's villain turns out to be such a handsome man. She decides to enjoy the banquet to the fullest, but suddenly a glass falls and the banquet is interrupted. Haley hears someone screaming and goes towards them. A crowd of courtiers gathered around a certain lady. They asked for a doctor to be called so that he could examine the fainting lady. The girls are making theories about the fainting lady. Maybe her corset was too tight, or she drank too much. Haley realizes that something is wrong here, and is told that there is a strange smell here. Many ladies complain that the local cherry blossoms smell strange and cause dizziness. Haley realizes that everything is happening because of the strange flowers. Haley remembers that the trees had no scent in the morning. Haley begins to wonder what this strange smell is. She remembers the mysterious letter that talks about a banquet and fog. Haley realizes that the smell of this drug fog is in the air. The distinctive feature of the mist poison is the smell of sweet flowers. Haley suddenly remembers that in the novel, poison was put into Joshua's food and it went unnoticed. Haley is in a panic. Could there really be poison in these delicious snacks? Haley sniffs the cake. The food smells normal. She understands that the wine and champagne here are poisoned. Haley decides to report the poisoned alcohol to His Highness. Haley notices the Emperor, who is not far from her. Haley realizes that Emperor Demian does not stand alone. Next to the Emperor is Rowentia, who justifies himself before the Emperor. He offers poisoned wine as an apology. The Emperor just wants to drink the poisoned wine. Haley is flying full speed towards Emperor Demian, but is stopped by a servant. Haley yells at Emperor Demian not to dare drink. Haley tells her that the wine is poisonous, but no one believes her. Haley warns that all the alcohol is tainted with poison and the smell is coming from the mist. The Emperor listens attentively to the news that the wine is poisoned and he must interrupt the banquet. Rowentia tells her that she is a fool and is talking complete nonsense. But he is interrupted. Another lady becomes ill at the banquet. Emperor Demian orders Slek, his servant, to sort everything out. Slek replies to His Majesty that he should interrupt the banquet, notify all the guests about the poisoned wine, and intercept the enemies. Haley tells him to stop, and she knows who's behind it all. Haley points to Rowentia and says that he is behind everything. Rowentia tells them that she is drunk and orders them not to listen to her. The girl opens the inhibitor he prepared and realizes that it is poisoned. Haley says there might be poison in the incubator. According to Haley, the smell of poison should remain on Rowentia's hands, and he is asked to show his hands. Rowentia screams that Haley wants to kill him and take his place as a pharmacist. The Emperor orders Slek to get rid of Rowentia. We are again shown the palace of the local Petersburg, and in the background, Rowentia screams. The Emperor decides to speak with Haley alone. The Emperor asks Haley if she knows about the antidote, to which she replies that she knows about the poison, but not about the antidote. The Emperor understands that the situation is difficult and decides to ask the poisoner. The Emperor tasks Haley with finding the cure for truth. Haley finds a red vial, which is the truth cure. Haley decides to take it as quickly as possible, but a black figure appears. Haley is gagged and kidnapped. A mysterious figure in a cloak whispers to her not to move and not to tell anyone. The figure gives her poison and orders her to kill Rowentia with it, and if she fails, then she will die. Haley realizes she has to agree. The figure releases Haley and tells her to remember what she promised. Figra leaves Haley in a cloak, but she feels uneasy around her. Haley doesn't know if the world is really that hard and why he didn't take the elixir. Haley points out that there are now 2 elixirs. Haley believes she can switch the elixirs, but she is afraid that Demian will notice and she will be killed. We are shown a dark and gloomy dungeon. One of the officers leads Haley through this dungeon. The officer informs His Majesty that he has brought Haley and she is terrified. The Emperor tortured Rowentia, and now he looks more like a predatory beast than a cutie, an emperor. Rowentia sits covered in blood on a torture chair. Haley looks at Rowentia with horror and curiosity. Haley feels a sense of pity for Rowentia. Roventia's face is covered in blood, and the Emperor grabs him by the throat. He pours the elixir of truth into Roventia's mouth. The Emperor sternly asks Rowentia if he had added the poison. Roventia's lips are pressed together. He is covered in blood. Rowentia, under the influence of the truth serum, tells that the Emperor orders Haley to write down the potion's ingredients while he tortures Rowentia. Haley carefully writes down the ingredients: seaweed, flaxroot, amina peel, spider mucus, renshi. While Rowentia lists the ingredients, Demian menacingly asks who is behind him. The torch burns in the dark dungeon. The moment of truth arrives. But Rowentia decides to commit suicide to avoid telling the truth. The Emperor orders that he be gagged and interrogated later. The Emperor tells a worried Slek that everything else can be extracted from Rowentia in the standard way. The Emperor announces that he will entrust the antidote to another pharmacist and takes the list. He says, taking the list of ingredients, that they need to go back, and Haley asks him again. Night falls and the local cherry trees are beautiful in the moonlight. The Emperor calms Haley down and asks her to be simpler. Haley says this is the first time she's been in a situation like this. The Emperor tells her that she must be prepared for anything. Haley doesn't want to get caught up in court intrigues, and the young man praises her for bringing an elixir and not poison. Haley tries to remember how he knew about the poison, and it dawns on her that he sent the hooded figure. The Emperor tells her that when the girl left, Slake came up with the following idea. Haley wonders why the Emperor did this, and he tells her that it is because he doesn't trust anyone. The Emperor gently places his hand on her shoulder and reassures her, saying that it was a small test of loyalty. He asks Haley if she understands that there is no one to trust in the palace. Haley thinks he means he likes her. The Emperor informs her that there is one unfinished business left, which is to choose a new pharmacist. He asks the girl to have a good rest and then come to his office. He leaves, leaving Haley alone in the middle of the lush garden. We are shown the Emperor's palace in all its glory. The architecture is clearly Viennese. Then the action moves to the prison where Ravencia is imprisoned. Ravencia sits in prison, horrified and quite battered. He recalls how a certain man came to him and asked him to poison the Emperor. However, our Haley stood in the way of the old pharmacist. Ravencia awaits his death in horror as a hooded figure mocks him. Ravencia looks up and meets the amber eyes of a cloaked figure. He screams that Haley betrayed him. Ravencia shouts that he will catch the girl, and the figure promises him that he will be released at dawn. The hooded figure gives Ravencia alcohol to calm him down. Ravencia greedily drinks alcohol. He did not expect such care. Ravencia tells the figure that she will wait for him to pull him out at dawn. The Emperor approaches the hooded figure and asks how everything went. The hooded figure removes his hood, revealing golden hair. The hooded figure and confidant of the Emperor turns out to be Archduke Ares. Ares takes off his cloak. It's like he's wearing a latex suit. He promises that he will fulfill the promise he made to Ravencia. Cutie Ares says he didn't promise that Ravencia would stay with them. The man next to him tells him that he will handle the rest. The medicine they gave to Ravencia was poison. Ravencia should be dead by now. The action moves to the palace, where the events take place. Haley earned not only the Emperor's trust, but also a promotion. A small cup of tea is placed on a tray in front of Haley. The Emperor tells her that he likes the drink and offers it to her. The Emperor says that the tea has not yet cooled down. Haley is shocked that the Emperor wants to deal with the tea himself. Haley takes the Emperor's hands and tells him that she is grateful for his concern and the iced tea. She takes the Emperor's hands and tells him that she likes iced tea, but the phrase is ambiguous. Haley quickly apologizes to the Emperor for her actions. The Emperor asks her if she has considered his offer to become a pharmacist. Haley tells him that she agrees to standard working conditions. The Emperor offers the girl a raise. Haley doesn't know the prices here, but she has a proposition for the Emperor. She says that the monthly salary amount will suit her. The Emperor is surprised. Is she really satisfied with the low salary? They decide to enter into a new agreement. He asks the girl if she brought a new seal. The Emperor shows where to apply the seal. But the girl's hand stops because she has not read the contract. She realizes she hasn't even read the contract. But the Emperor puts his seal on her behalf and says that he will send a copy later. Slek bursts into the Emperor's chambers and asks what happened. The Emperor informs Haley that he will reschedule the meeting for a later date. Haley is shown the door and told to come back later. Haley realizes she's just been thrown out. We are again shown a palace that resembles Greek architecture. Someone's hand reaches for the gilded door handle. The Emperor closes the door and asks what Slake wants. Slek tells him the news that Ravencia is dead and committed suicide. The Emperor listens to Slek's report that the poison was potent. Slek suggests that the poison and the mist were identical. The Emperor understands that he will never know about his conspirators. The Emperor believes he will find the answer in ancient magic. The Emperor orders to save the people at the banquet first. Slek doesn't understand what the Emperor is talking about. It suddenly dawns on Slek that he means the pharmacist. The Emperor tells him that he does not consider Haley a conspirator. Slek doesn't understand why the Emperor didn't just let the girl go. The Emperor demands that he be given a copy of the treaty. Slek reads the contract and asks if he thinks the girl will be faithful to him. The Emperor says he thinks Haley is quite funny. But what touches the Emperor most is her abilities. Suddenly the Emperor's condition worsens. The agony approaches and his body burns. The Emperor believes that he has a disgusting disease. Slek walks down the corridor among numerous tapestries and carpets. Slek wonders when the Emperor's illness will subside and whether it will recur. Slek knocks on Haley's door and wonders why the Emperor decided to keep the girl for himself. Meanwhile, Haley is dragging some heavy boxes. It turns out Haley is moving things into a new office. She said that Cecile said that it was more important than the promotion, and Slek was surprised that Cecile wasn't helping her. Haley is shocked by the news that Cecile is now her new maid. She recalls that the girl barely looked around the office and ran away. Haley is handed a copy of the contract she signed. Haley says she feared the consequences of the agreement would be worse. She turns over the side of the agreement and believes that there is nothing wrong with it. The contract states that it is for life. Haley is shocked that she signed without reading it. Haley is horrified at what the hell is in front of her. She decides to urgently visit the Emperor and squeeze the truth out of him. Haley tells a surprise Slek that she had no choice but to sign the contract without reading it. Cecile screams that she now owes 5,000 gold. Cecile is surprised that her mistress will be paid 5,000 gold. Cecile tells her that she heard a noise and decided to come in. She says that this is a reasonable amount, which even a maid would not earn in a lifetime. Haley is surprised that she can buy a piece of land with that kind of money. Haley dreams of a beautiful Chinese-style house. Haley dreams of a beautiful Chinese-style house. Haley decides to think things over again. Cecile says she was in the store and bought a beautiful brooch. She also bought a silk dress, which was made by the best craftsman in the city. Haley is now wearing a gold and blue dress and a gold pearl brooch with a camellia. Haley is surprised. She thought Cecile ran away from her. Cecile praises Haley, saying that she has been lucky in life. Haley believes that with such privileges and salary, she will be fine. Haley asks Cecile if she can help her with her work, but she's nowhere to be found. Haley looks at the boxes of things and wonders how long it will take to unpack them. She rolls up her sleeves and picks up her dress to get the job done. Haley believes that while she is unpacking, she will learn about the girl in whose body she is arriving. Haley struggled to put all the bottles and jars on the shelves. The girl kept coming across one name, Ruzan. Haley thinks it is a rare name, and she has never met anyone with that name. Suddenly, Haley remembers something from the novel. Haley fantasizes that Ruzan is the lost lover of the novel's heroine. Haley thinks she can ask Ruzan for a meeting. Haley is distracted by someone's loud knock on the door. A letter is slipped under her door for her to read. Haley thinks the planted note is from a secret lover. Haley reads a letter stating that the second stage of the experiment was successful. Haley suddenly realizes that the handwriting on the notes is the same. Haley looks out into the hallway, but whoever left the note has already left. Haley believes that she should pay attention to the notes. Suddenly, she too is an accomplice in the assassination attempt on the Emperor. But then Haley denies it, since Rowentia would have named her under the truth serum. Haley realizes there must be something else in the message. Haley has been reading detective stories and brings the letter to the fire. She understands that there is nothing in the letter, but on her hand there are signs like in The Lord of the Rings. She understands that there is nothing in the letter, but on her hand there are signs like in The Lord of the Rings. Haley thinks the inscription is strange and written in Elvish. Haley now has questions about whose body she took over. We are shown a garden where a fountain with crystal water works. The Emperor decides to meet Haley, and he is very happy to see her. Haley is puzzled why the Emperor enjoys night walks. Haley said she wanted to discuss the agreement, but then decided to go with it. The Emperor says that she seems to be a money grubber. Haley wants to run away, but the Emperor doesn't let her do it. Haley tells him that she's not even trying to run away. Haley feels out of place when talking to the Emperor. The Emperor tells her that he feels a little hot. Haley notes that he doesn't look well. Suddenly, the Emperor becomes ill. The Emperor clutches his heart and it beats like crazy. Haley tells the Emperor that she understands that he is not feeling well and that she wants to call a doctor. The Emperor begins to have a seizure and his eyes turn red. The Emperor suddenly falls on the girl. He feels unwell, his face is burning, and he asks Haley to stay with him. Haley feels that he is unwell and embarrassed because the handsome Emperor is so close. The Emperor tells her that everything is very strange. When Haley touches him, he can't resist. The Emperor holds Haley's hands and feels better when she's around. The action moves to a palace where windows are open overlooking the garden. We are shown Hayley's office with a bunch of potions and vials. Hayley feels like she has to work a lot. Hayley recalls how she tried to calm His Majesty down, but the handsome emperor passed out and he is handsome in his sleep. Moreover, in his sleep, he gently squeezed her hands. Hayley imagined the handsome emperor wanting to kiss her. Hayley would have almost died from an overdose if it weren't for Slack. Hayley realizes that she can't make the inhibitor yet, but Hayley has some extra medication that should be enough. We are shown the doors to the Emperor's chambers, who allows Hayley to enter. Slack leads Hayley to the Emperor's chambers. Hayley notes that the air in the Emperor's room has become hotter. Hayley brought him some medication and vitamins for sleeping. Hayley believes he'll just throw the potions away. The Emperor takes the inhibitor potion for himself. He gives the potion to her and says that she needs it more. Hayley says she is shocked by the Emperor's decision. The Emperor says that he does not have an illness, but an animal instinct. Hayley is told that one more attack and the Emperor will not survive. The Emperor says that he has to use force often and the attacks are getting worse. The Emperor asks the girl to prepare a potion for him, and she notes how strong he is, that even a sick person uses strength. The girl pours the potion into a cup. Espers are people who use powers and conduits that can stop the approach of power. The closer the contact between espers, the better the power is used. Hayley tells him that he will soon find a better guide. Hayley knows the Emperor has trust issues and won't find a guide anytime soon. The Emperor reveals that his elder brother died because of the esper. Hayley listens to Demian ask if he had an older brother, and he explains that he was not the heir to the throne until his brother's death. Hayley recalls that she didn't read that in the novel. The Emperor reveals that his brother has fallen in love with an esper, Yaoi. But their meeting was a mistake, and the esper betrayed the crown prince. And this shocked the prince so much that he committed suicide. The Emperor says that he will not repeat his brother's fate. Hayley realizes that he is taking medication because of psychological trauma. Hayley says she understands his pain. The Emperor believes he can trust her. The young man tells her that the prince shone at such moments. According to the Emperor, Hayley must make a suppressor. He demands that Hayley produce an inhibitor that he will not doubt. Hayley is upset about how she will make the inhibitor in such a short time. The Emperor tells her that he will rest, and Hayley asks him if she should leave. The Emperor holds her hand and asks her to stay. Hayley offers him to get a wet towel, but the Emperor immediately falls asleep and he is beautiful in his sleep. Hayley can't seem to escape his grip. Hayley realizes that the Emperor showed weakness today by talking about his brother. She covers the Emperor with a blanket. Hayley sits down next to the Emperor and looks into his face. It's a hot summer now, and the leaves are swaying on the trees. We are shown the castle courtyard, where the shooting targets are located. Little Demian asks his brother where the guides come from. His brother shoots at targets with his bow. Brother Demian's arrow hits the target. His brother Demian is glad that the eldest prince hit the target. He believes that he too will meet an esper, and the meeting, like an arrow, will pierce his heart. They stroke his head and he is happy. We are shown the elder prince. He is more handsome and courageous than Demian. Demian slowly comes to his senses the next morning. He saw a memory. Demian tries to figure out when he fell asleep. Before he went to sleep, his body was practically on fire, but now he felt better. The Emperor is surprised why he felt better after taking the inhibitor. Next to him, Hayley, who stayed with him overnight, moans. Hayley stretched out at his feet and spent the night cuddled under the blanket in his room. The Emperor is shocked. Could it be that Hayley was next to him all night? The Emperor notes that the pain subsides when Hayley is nearby. Is Hayley in a man's novel and she took the place of the esper? We are again shown a palace that looks like an observatory. The Emperor's graceful fingers tap on the table. The Emperor wonders why he told Hayley about his brother. The Emperor wonders why he told Hayley about his brother. When the Emperor first saw her, he was interested in her reaction. The Emperor wonders why he became interested in her, because of the medicine or because she is his esper. The Emperor wonders why he became interested in her, because of the medicine or because she is his esper. The Emperor believes that he should observe what is happening. The session scolds the girl for being with the Emperor again. Hayley remembers that while she was in a dream, the Emperor transported her to her room. Haley realizes that her relationship with the Emperor has changed. First, he told her about his brother, then about the mysterious letters. Haley decides to find out about the imperial family. The session is glad that Haley has finally become interested in the world in which she lives. Haley asks in surprise that she hadn't been interested in the world of session before. The session tells her that she needs additional payment for her work. Haley tells her that she will take care of it. Haley is literally rolling in money, so there won't be any problems. Within a minute, Haley has notes about the world she lives in. Haley now subscribes to the newspaper, Palace News, brought to you by the session. The big news about Archduke Ares, then Haley pulls out the special edition. Haley thinks the weather today is perfect for reading the news. A minute later, Haley read the news and is crying over some gossip. Haley realizes that she has been too immersed in reading the news about this world. The Emperor's mother died in childbirth, his nanny too, and the Emperor's brother committed suicide. After this, the current Empress became the Emperor's mistress, Clia, who brought his half-brother Ares with her. The Empress didn't like the Emperor, and Haley cries at the thought of him being lonely. She stops reading because she realizes she needs to rest. Haley thinks she is too emotional. Haley doesn't understand what the sound is outside. It seems that the newspapers wrote about the arrival of slaves at the palace. Joshua was a slave, and he came to the palace to kill the Emperor. Haley realizes that the Emperor is very lonely. Suddenly, Haley hurt herself on a sheet of newspaper. The wind carries away the limited news release. The news is intercepted by Ares, who was walking nearby. Haley is shocked. She didn't know Ares was here. Haley asks for the newscast back very politely. The young man tells her that the news here is not described accurately. The one who got the news magazine was Archduke Ares. Haley realizes that Archduke Ares is glad to see her. Ares praises the girl and says that thanks to her, everything was settled at the banquet. Ares asks the girl if she is smart because of the aesthetics she got from the newspaper. Haley realizes the Archduke wants to start a conversation. Haley decides to return the handkerchief Ares gave her at the banquet. Haley tells Ares that she used it to wipe away her tears and returns the handkerchief to him. Haley realizes that she has been mistreating Ares' thing. Ares tells her that she is more interesting than he thought. He tells the girl that he would like to talk to her longer. Haley tells him that she is ready to talk to him right away. But she is interrupted by the Emperor, who hints that she should communicate only with him. Haley is horrified that the Emperor has been standing there for so long. Ares greets the Emperor with a strained expression. Ares asks what the girl is doing here, and Ares does too. He tells him that he was heading to the Empress and bows. Haley feels awkward talking to the Emperor. Haley thinks she should go back to work too, but the Emperor's hand stops Haley halfway. Haley is puzzled. Why does the Emperor grab her hand so often? The Emperor thanks her for bringing the sleeping pills and asks her to bring more. Haley asks the Emperor to let her go. She feels a little awkward. The Emperor clearly tried to persuade Haley with his face. Haley is glad that she was finally able to get rid of both of them. Haley remembers Ares wanting to talk to her alone. Haley suddenly realizes something. She is shocked that Ares knows her name. She didn't tell it to him. Haley believes that the Emperor is unscrupulous and forced her to work from morning until night. Haley realizes she hasn't been this exhausted in a long time. Haley thinks the tray is very heavy. Haley reflects on her relationship with Session and believes that she lied to her about the tray's lightness. Haley notices Slek and believes that the Emperor may have contracted the disease. Slek kindly informs the Emperor through the door of Haley's arrival. Haley enters the Emperor's chambers. The door opens before her, and the Emperor's gentle voice invites her to enter. The Emperor tells her that he is glad to see her and has been waiting for her. Haley is shocked that the Emperor invited her. Haley doesn't understand whether the Emperor was in such a hurry to take his sleeping pills that he met her. Haley was thrown off balance by the Emperor's handsome face. But Haley asks him not to smile because of his handsome face, she is not able to appreciate him, and asks how he will take the medicine. The Emperor asks Haley if she is sick, and she says that she has just a slight cold. Haley says she thinks it's due to fatigue. The Emperor's soft hand touches her forehead. Haley asks what he's doing, and she's confused. The Emperor informs her that she may have a fever. He says his forehead is hotter than his hand. Suddenly, Haley falls down with the tray. The emperor screams in horror and calls her name. He picks up Haley and holds her in his arms. Haley's face is flushed and she is covered in sweat. The emperor immediately summons the brave and loyal Slek. Slek listens as the emperor orders him to call a physician. The emperor is horrified. Could it be that Haley had been working in such a state since morning? The emperor picks up Haley and carries her to her chambers. The emperor recalls that he couldn't resist when he saw Haley with another man. The emperor recalls that he couldn't resist when he saw Haley with another man. He lays Haley carefully on the bed in his chambers. The emperor is perplexed. Why is he so worried about Haley? The girl is getting worse and worse. Her temperature is rising and her whole face is burning. The emperor notes that Haley's condition has worsened. The emperor decides to wait for the doctor, who should arrive any minute. The emperor suddenly notices a decanter of water. There are some medicines that Haley prepared for him. The emperor decides to uncork one of the potions. He gives it to Haley to drink, placing it to her lips. The emperor understands that the medicine cannot help unless it gets inside the body. He decides to act like in typical romantic dramas. He opens Haley's mouth and drinks the liquid, deciding to pour the liquid into her mouth. From the outside, it looks like a kiss between the emperor and Haley. Moreover, the yaoi novel is ruined. And now we have a romantic drama with a girl who takes the place of the esper and even gets a kiss for it. The emperor forces the girl to drink the potion. She takes a potion from him, which is necessary to relieve the fever. Fortunately for the emperor, the girl swallowed the entire potion. The heat slowly begins to subside on Haley. The doors to the emperor's chambers open. Slek informs the emperor that the elderly physician has arrived. The emperor informs him that he gave her an antipyretic. The emperor leaves the healer alone with the exhausted Haley. Slek and the doctor promise to get the girl back on her feet. The emperor closes the doors to his chambers, hoping for the best. He also realizes that he is having another attack. The emperor does not understand why his temperature has risen, and he is flushed with heat. The action moves to the emperor's chambers, where work is in full swing. Haley slowly comes to her senses. Instead of a handsome prince, the healer Callium stands before her. Callium is amazed that Haley has a clear voice this morning. Haley is especially surprised when she sees that Slek is also here. Haley suddenly realizes that she has woken up in the emperor's chambers. She recalls the events of the previous day. Haley is horrified. Did she really act so recklessly? Callium asks Haley how she is, and she says it's wonderful. Haley points out that the emperor is not here. Haley realizes that the emperor is not here, and he will not lecture her. Haley is afraid that she has made some mistake. She remembers the emperor's great view from the front and how he carried her in his arms. Callium interrupts her mood about the emperor by asking if she has any chronic illnesses. Callium scolds Hai for being reckless about her indifference to her health. Haley asks him if it might be because he's overtired. Callium says she shouldn't treat her health that way. He believes that the girl is in poor condition and should not overexert herself. He said nothing specific and left. Slek asks the girl about how long ago she had her medical examination. After asking questions, Slek leaves, leaving the heroine alone. Slek says that the girl has a day off today and she has orders to have a good rest. Haley is in shock. The emperor ordered her to rest. She is glad that the emperor gave her a day off. Servant Slek stands outside the door of the room where Haley sits. Slek notices that it's very strange what's going on with Haley. Symptoms of high temperature and loss of consciousness are observed only in conductors. Slek thinks he needs to follow the girl. We are shown a meeting room in the Versailles style. Some people say that it is impossible to impose any restrictions on knights, aristocrats. One of the aristocrats says that how will they regulate the growing number of knights? Will they really have to abandon them? They answer him, is it really possible to expand the garrison under this pretext? The dispute over the knights continues. The emperor interrupts all this and says that he will resolve this issue. The man with the mustache says that credit must be given to Archduke Ares. Many knights agree that Archduke Ares should be rewarded. Many note that the Archduke tried harder than other knights when conquering another country. The emperor tells them what the hell they're doing. Ares is no different from the rest. The advisors are horrified. How dare their emperor speak like that? As far as we are told behind the scenes, they decided to use Ari's influence to expand the privileges of the aristocracy. The emperor considers them to be pathetic cowards, incapable of even lifting a sword. We are shown the emperor's botanical garden. Slek asks the emperor where he is going. The emperor is worse off, his head is splitting. The emperor is afraid that an attack is about to begin. The emperor gives the order to bring a physician to him. The emperor announces that he will rest a little in the garden. The emperor sits down under an oak tree and feels worse. The emperor does not know how to get rid of the illness. Suddenly, the emperor is distracted by Haley's voice. A figure with long silver hair stands in front of him. Standing in front of him in a green dress is Haley. We are shown the architecture of ancient Greece. Haley is confused about what happened to Demian. The girl asks the emperor what happened to him. Haley is perplexed that she is not given peace even on her day off. The emperor is surprised. Haley came early on a day when she should be resting. Haley says how can she rest at a time like this? Haley bows before the emperor. She asks if he's sure he's okay. The emperor is surprised. His illness passed as soon as he saw Haley. The emperor asks if Haley is worried about him. Haley offers him the coconut milk the healer gave her to help her recover. Haley tells the emperor that she has another coconut tube. Haley tells the emperor to just put the stick in his mouth and drink. Haley tells the emperor that coconut milk is refreshing. Since the emperor ascended the throne, he has been afraid of others. However, Haley is not like that, and she takes the pressure off him in an unusual way. Sometimes she tries to run away, as if she doesn't want to do the job. But at the right moment, she always returns. It's like she doesn't want to hide from everyone. The emperor asks Haley to never do favors. According to the emperor, any action can change his life. Haley is surprised. Is it really impossible to treat someone with coconut milk? The emperor believes that in a normal situation, he would not drink milk. But the emperor decides to trust the girl and have a drink. Haley tells him that when she tried Session's straw, she didn't like it. Session, on the contrary, angrily reprimanded Haley. The emperor is horrified by Session's actions, but Haley tells him that things are not so bad. Haley asks the emperor how he doesn't understand him, since she's not an esper. When the emperor says his heart hurts, Haley is horrified. Haley scolds him and says that you can't turn a blind eye to something like this. Haley wonders if he needs medicine and whether to call Callum. The emperor believes that there is no person he could miss and trust. No one had cared for him like Haley had in a long time. Demian's heart beats at an incredible speed. He believes that Haley makes him feel better. We are shown the richly furnished office of the emperor and Slek. Slek asks the emperor why he lied to him. Slek tells Demian that he created the palace problems to avoid the pharmacist. The emperor stops his hand on the letter and calls Slek by name. Demian brazenly asks, since when he became bold enough to ask such questions. Slek is interested in why Demian did this. Demian tells him that he is too bold to ask, and then the emperor decides to tell Slek the truth. He tells Slek that he decided that Haley could be his guide, and he cut himself off from her. Slek tells him that he has some information on this matter. He says that he will inform her when the emperor is ready. The emperor and Slek decide to continue another time. Slek thinks that you shouldn't trust symptoms alone. I think he's jealous. The emperor believes he has power over everything and can threaten Haley. The emperor notes that a light breeze is blowing. Suddenly, Demian notices something outside the window. It turns out it's Haley coming and she doesn't suspect a thing. Haley is walking down the street and is in no danger. The emperor is surprised where she is going in such a hurry. Haley thinks she has nothing to do and that she goes swimming on the weekends. Haley doesn't know what to do. Maybe she should learn a foreign language, or she wants the emperor to go and study something diplomatic. Suddenly, someone distracts Haley. The emperor tenses up again and looks at the one talking to Haley. He's jealous. Duke Ares appears in front of the girl and distracts the heroine. The bath in the castle is filled with water and everything is ready for the emperor's bath. The emperor, exposing his beautiful abs, plunges into the water. He wonders why his heart feels so heavy. The girl is puzzled as to why Ares is standing here. Demian believes that Ares wants to influence the ministers by coming here. Haley asks Ares how he knows her name. Ares tells Haley that he heard the names from other pharmacists. Ares quickly apologizes, saying he didn't mean to scare her and was rude. He tells a shocked Hailey that he is interested in her. Ares asks Hailey if she would like to visit the palace and meet him to talk. Demian listens. He believes that he has ulterior motives. Arcee wants to take the throne and now he needs a pharmacist. Demian thinks that Ares is quite the impudent one. However, Demian had secured the contract and Hailey would not simply break it. Demian has another attack. Demian was in shock. His heart skipped a beat again. Beads of sweat are running down his naked body. Demian is worried that he will lose Hailey to Ares. But recently, Demian decided to stay away from Hailey. Demian decided that he didn't want to lose Hailey and he should get closer to the girl. We are shown the city and the morning, which is clear. Hailey plays dominoes and tries to occupy her personal time. As a child, she often built castles, but now she can't do it. Hailey is worried about the Emperor and wonders how he is. Yesterday, Hailey saw the healer Callium accompanying him. Hailey stood hesitantly over the dominoes. She sincerely believes that he will not die before meeting Joshua. When Hailey decides not to relax, Session bursts into her chambers with a wild scream. She reports that the Emperor is in trouble. Hailey is afraid that something has happened to the Emperor. Hailey asks if the Emperor is in bad shape, and Session says yes. Hailey thinks he needs to get a guide urgently. The Session opens its doors and invites the girl to enter. Hailey panics and asks Demian if everything is okay, but he sits in the greenhouse, surrounded by flowers and calmly drinks tea. Emperor Demian politely invites Hailey in. Hailey is surprised that he is not unwell and asks why he called her. Hailey looks at the maid and asks if he is really dying, and if it is urgent, she says that she always copes with her duties. The Emperor tells Hailey that he has invited the girl for some aromatic tea. Hailey is furious. Did the Emperor really invite her for a cup of tea? He says he didn't want to drink alone. Hailey scolds him, saying that she thought he was dying. Hailey notes that the tea is wonderful. She puts the teacup on the table. Hailey doesn't understand how tea can be so good. While Hailey is tasting the tea, Demian offers her a cookie. Hailey is happily eating cookies. Hailey notes that the cookies and tea are delicious. The Emperor asks Hailey to take her time and eat more desserts. Hailey blushes as the Emperor touches her cheek. Today, Demian is very polite to her. The next day, Hailey wonders why the Emperor called her again. In front of Hailey is a table with fried lobster, sliced trout, onion rings and salad, with sausage and champagne and wine. There are also various desserts on the table, a cake with cherries, a cake with mushrooms, a roulade, and a cake with cherry icing. Hailey is shocked. All these delicacies are for her alone. Hailey notes that the Emperor created a wonderful breakfast for her. Hailey says there's too much food here for her to eat alone. The Emperor tells her that he wants to eat it all with her. Hailey looks around. Is all this wealth really for her alone? Hailey can't stop eating too much. On the table there is a real feast for the hungry. Zucchini with caviar, fried lobster with lemon, salad and bread with onion rings, fried chicken. Hailey says she's happy to eat it all, and the Emperor tells her that he used to only dine with ministers. Hailey now understands why she has such luxurious dishes in front of her. She asks the Emperor if they really went on strike, and he, sipping his wine, tells her that they did. Hailey realizes she's hit the nail on the head. The ministers have become completely insolent and are now insulting her cutie, the Emperor. Hailey imagines that the country will start a war because of the foolish ministers and will need more medicine. Hailey lists the medications, and the surprised Emperor asks what's wrong with her. Hailey clears her throat when Demian reassures her that there is no poison. Demian asks if he is right, and she clears her throat, saying yes. Hailey thinks she needs to eat and get out of here. Demian asks Hailey if she knows why he called her. Demian tells the girl that he is interested in her. Hailey is shocked by what the Emperor told her. Demian tells her that he wants to get closer to her. Hailey is shocked that he wants to be her support. Hailey suddenly realizes that he wants her to work more. She tells him sharply that she is uncomfortable with what is happening here. Hailey tells the Emperor that she will probably go. Hailey decided she was free and wanted to escape. She is about to run away, and the Emperor watches her go. The Emperor wipes his lips with a napkin and watches her. Demian says he's interested in Hailey. Session wakes up Hailey and screams throughout the house. Also, Hailey was constantly called by someone when the Emperor needed to see her. The Emperor has been haunting Haley since the incident with Ares and offers her a boat ride this time. Haley angrily tells him that she was taking a shower. Haley yells at him that because of him she doesn't know peace, she is pulled around non-stop for any reason. The Emperor tells her to look up and she does. Haley sees hyanthus flowers, the local cherry tree. The Emperor tells her that he wanted to show her the petals before the flowers faded. But Haley enjoys the walk she goes on. One day, Haley decided not to buy into the maid's cries that the Emperor was ill. When Haley asks Session what it is this time, she says it's for real. Haley is asked to bring ointment to the Emperor. The Emperor has injured his arm and now he needs Haley's help. Haley is shocked that the Emperor is now ill. Haley sits down next to the Emperor and asks him what happened. The Emperor tells her that he got hurt during sparring. He tells the girl what he was thinking about and under what pretext to call her. Haley is surprised that he was looking for an excuse to see her. Haley asks him if she is partly to blame for what happened. He says that she reacts to his challenges in a very funny way. Demian shocks the girl by asking if they have become closer. He asks her if she is ready to become the closest person to him. Haley doesn't know what to say to the Emperor's question. The girl doesn't even know what to say to the Emperor's proposal. She is trying to understand whether the Emperor is serious. She says she has no right to refuse his offer. But suddenly the girl dropped the bottle with the potion. When she tries to lift it, the Emperor helps her. The Emperor covered her hand with his palm. Haley cheerfully tells him that he shouldn't worry. The Emperor does not let go of her hand or his. At this sweet moment, Slack and Callium arrive. They are amazed at how close Haley and the Emperor have become. Haley tries to explain the situation with the medicine clumsily. The Emperor slyly asks the girl what she should answer him. Haley screams that she doesn't mind getting closer to him. The Emperor looks at Haley for a long time, as if testing her. Haley tenses and tightens her grip on the straps of her bag. She turns and walks away, leaving the people behind. Haley walks through the castle corridors, hearing the Emperor boasting that Haley cured him. Haley realizes that it is the Emperor who makes her heart beat. Haley thinks she was attracted to his pretty face. In front of us are numerous bottles and flasks. Session asks Haley when the medicine will be ready. Haley tells the maid that she will definitely take care of herself to take her mind off the Emperor by making medicine. The Session tells her that there is no point in showing her something. The Session tells her that new details have appeared in the newspaper. The Session shows the girl a newspaper and she looks at it. Session tells Haley that the slaves they brought were crazy. Haley asks her friend to let her look at the newspaper. She is worried that something might happen to Joshua. Haley carefully studies the newspaper brought by Session. Ever since the slaves were brought to the palace, they were abused by the maid. She was punished, but she did not stop, but became even angrier. It was then that Joshua was shot in the back while trying to save a little boy. Probably the Northerners wanted to set up the maid, thinks Session. The Session asks its mistress to be more careful. But Haley doesn't listen to her and collects the vials. Haley understands that Joshua will face difficulties, but she didn't know that he would be treated harshly. Haley packed her bag and told Sessions that she had urgent business. Haley doesn't listen to her maid and leaves the castle in search of Joshua. Suddenly, an obstacle appears in front of our heroine. It's Slack, who's wondering where she's going. Haley asks him why he came to visit her. Slack didn't have time to answer her, and our heroine runs away from him. Slack watches our heroine with a long and thoughtful look. They show us a palace. The architecture is like in Bavaria. Haley says the Norsemen have settled here. In the novel, it was often written that Joshua was walking, but will the heroine be able to find him? She didn't want to risk 2 medications. She made a bunch of elixirs and carries them in a fragile basket. Haley is worried that Joshua might develop a fever. But in truth, the girl came here to see Joshua. She realizes that she won't be able to get inside and decides to wait outside. Haley waits a full hour in the scorching sun to meet Joshua. This is how the whole fucking day goes. Haley freezes while waiting for Joshua outside. No matter how hard it was for her favorite, Hetsley forgot to get dressed. Unlike the pile of medicines, Haley decides to return tomorrow with the medications prepared and dressed. She got lost and couldn't find her way back. Suddenly, a traveler comes along, and Haley decides to ask him, but what is that glow around him the closer he gets? The truth suddenly dawns on Haley. Hazelnut-colored hair blowing in the wind. Big shiny and green eyes like greenery. We were finally shown Joshua, the man of the Emperor's dreams. The heroine is glad that she met Joshua. Haley wonders what she can tell him when they first meet. Haley decides to go head-on and tell him he's beautiful. She immediately corrects herself, but Joshua doesn't notice her. Haley shouts after him that she heard someone get hurt and came to help. Joshua pauses at her last words. He quickly reacts to the fact that there is a pharmacist in front of him. Haley is friendly, saying she brought some medicine. She offers Joshua to take the potions. Joshua watches her for a long time, carefully. He asks Haley for help and she breaks into a smile. Joshua tells the girl that he needs help and undresses. Joshua has injured his back and could use some help from Haley. Haley asks him to sit down and wants to look at the wound. We are shown the moon and the night sky. Within a few minutes, Haley had almost treated Joshua's wounds. The boy's wound turned out to be deeper than she imagined. Haley sympathizes with the young man and tells him that everything is ready. Haley offers him some medicine that Joshua should take every day, but his soft hand stops her. Joshua asks the pharmacist why she helped him. Haley tells him she's used to it. Joshua tells her that she is very kind. Suddenly, a voice is heard and Haley turns to look at it. Before them is Demian himself, the Emperor, who is shocked by what he sees. He understands the situation in his own way. The Emperor is jealous of Haley towards Joshua. Haley asks the Emperor why he is here. Haley thinks the course of history was changed because of her intervention. The Emperor asks what they are doing here at such a late hour. It dawns on Haley that she and Joshua look like a couple. Haley decides to act formal and introduces Joshua to the Emperor. Haley explains to the Emperor that Joshua is a northerner and was wounded. She also introduces Joshua to the Emperor, but he demands an explanation. Haley explains to the Emperor that she cured Joshua. Haley explains to the Emperor that the northerners are being treated poorly. Demian listens carefully to Haley. He asks Haley to come with him and Joshua. He tells her that they need to talk. Haley tells Joshua that she will be back soon. Since Haley is bound to him by a contract, she is obliged to follow the Emperor. Haley's gaze shifts to Emperor Demian's broad back. He looks at her and his eyes glow red. The girl tries to figure out where his gaze is directed. Two handsome men, Demian and Joshua, met each other's eyes. Haley realizes they are making eye contact. Haley's thoughts were racing somewhere else. But Demian rudely tells her that they have to go. Haley follows Demian and thinks that fate wants to bring him together with Joshua. Joshua spits out the Emperor's name with hatred, Demian Lucia Clares. Haley and Demian walk through the corridors of the castle. Haley asks Demian if he felt anything. Demian doesn't understand what the girl is talking about. The girl really wants to hear the Emperor quote a phrase from the novel comparing Joshua to the beautiful fawn Bambi. The Emperor tells the girl that he felt something. Haley wants to know how he felt, but the Emperor pleases her with the news that the girl's vacation is over. He thinks they need to get to know each other better. Demian asks Haley to come to his office tomorrow. We are shown the endless night sky with a full moon. Demian tells Haley that she needs to know everything about him. Haley thinks he loves Joshua and asks him about the inhibitor. But the Emperor's face suddenly changes. He angrily asks the girl if she treats runaway slaves at night. According to the original novel, the Emperor, upon seeing Joshua's wounds, was terribly angry with the servants. Haley sadly realizes that her plan to make Joshua and the Emperor happy has failed. I wonder when she thought about it. Half of the Manhwa has already passed. Haley realizes that it is difficult for her to be in this world and know the plot of the original novel. Demian suddenly takes off his cloak. He puts it on the healer and kindly asks her to dress warmer so that she doesn't catch a cold. Haley can't figure out why the Emperor's expression changed so suddenly. He tells her that she is a talented medic who can make an inhibitor. On that note, Demian and Haley say goodbye. Haley tightens her overlord's cloak. Haley suddenly realizes that no man has ever shown this kind of attention to her. In the evening, we are shown Demian's office, full of all sorts of paraphernalia. He sits in his favorite deerskin chair and thinks that he doesn't like all this. Demian notes that Haley has a lot of kindness for sick people. But in Damien's opinion, Haley was the one smiling the most. A slave from the north is getting on Damien's nerves. Damien calls his faithful Slek to him and orders him to summon the minister responsible for slave migration. The next morning, the action moves to the hospital building. Haley is counting down how much time she has left before work. Haley wants to check if Joshua is okay. She promised not to walk around at night, but she didn't promise not to see Joshua. Suddenly, Haley's gaze is drawn to what is happening in the asylum. Maids and servants are scurrying around the hospital. Haley wonders what might have happened, and Slek tells her that these are measures taken by the Emperor. Haley is frightened by Slek's sudden appearance. Slek tells her that he always does his job, and Haley wonders if Slek's job now includes spying on her. Haley tries to understand when Slek started following her. She guesses that Slek has been watching her all this time. The girl is angry that she is being followed. Haley thinks that Slek has had enough of dodging the question, saying that he did everything because of the slaves. Haley realizes that slaves have become easier to handle. Haley thinks that Damien and Josh are having an affair, and Slek is tired of her emotional swings. Haley believes that she will interfere with the two lovers. She decides to go to work and says that it's real spring in the yard. Suddenly, Haley hears someone's gentle voice. Ares appears before her in all his glory. He asks the girl what she is doing in the hospital, and she says that she was just passing by. Ares tells her that he was also passing by, and the girl remembers something. In the novel, Ares used Joshua for his own purposes, and he pretended to be submissive to the will of the Archduke. In the novel, Joshua was the youngest prince of the defeated country, Astal, and wanted to reclaim his homeland. Ares asks the girl if she has thought about his proposal. Haley tries to remember what proposal she was talking about. Ares wanted to discuss something with her and invite her to his place, and the girl remembers this conversation. Ares rummages through the folds of his cloak and asks the girl to accept something. He hands her an envelope with the royal seal. Ares invites the girl somewhere. He whispers to Haley that this is a rather dangerous and businesslike meeting. The girl pushes him away in horror and tells him that she refuses. Ares, against the backdrop of a beautiful landscape, tells her that he was joking. Ares tells her that she knows exactly why she came. He cheerfully asks the girl if she can come. Haley stares at the envelope for a long time at home. She wonders why she accepted the invitation if she didn't even read it. She can't refuse cutie Ares. Slek tells her that there is no point in worrying about it if nothing can be done. The doors open in front of the girl and a voice announces that she is late. Damien is dressed in a black velvet suit with gold swirls, and he asks the girl where she has been. Haley asks him if there's any point in her answering if Slek is telling him everything. Damien slyly asks her if she is worried about the slaves. Haley proudly tells him that she will not bother Joshua and the Emperor, but he does not understand anything. Haley quickly corrects herself, saying that she will not meddle in the affairs of the North. Haley says the bag contains things from the pharmacist before her and notes about His Majesty. Damien is shocked, and Hetzley places heavy tomes in front of them. She wants to know about his illness. Haley says she'll get more information if she digs into the books. Haley offers to consult Damien about his ailment, and he doesn't know what it is. In response to the Emperor's words about her taking her work seriously, the girl clears her throat professionally. She asks the Emperor if he is allergic to anything. Damien lists to her what he is allergic to: Charbet fruit, Balaban seaweed, Solfi flowers. He is also allergic to animals. Haley asks him if he has had any sudden pains. Damien tells her that he sometimes gets a fever. Damien says that his temperature rises when he sees a certain person. Haley records that Damien is flushed. She asks Damien if he feels sad and if his heartbeat is increasing. He remembers Haley and says the symptoms are what she asked about. He also can't forget yesterday's scene with Joshua and her. He tells Haley that something like that, and she writes everything down in a book. Damien is shocked when the girl suggests that he is in love. Haley chuckles, being such a fool that she thinks it's all because of Joshua. The Emperor clears his throat cheerfully and looks at Haley. He feels awkward when he says he might fall in love. Haley thinks he's a little confused about his feelings. Haley decides to move on to another issue. Later, she studies what the Emperor told her about his symptoms. She thinks that there are so many papers here that she won't even be able to eat properly. Someone is knocking on the elegant door to her chambers. Session enters the chambers and asks why she is eating in the chambers. Hailey says she doesn't even have the energy to eat. The session tells her that there were no changes in Hailey before her memory loss. The session reveals that Hailey was cold and withdrawn and difficult to approach. Session says she likes the current Hailey better. Hailey realizes that she hasn't found out anything about the Emperor. She couldn't find anything about the pattern on her hand. Also, Hailey didn't find out anything about the mysterious note. And although she avoided everything, she thought about what happened more than once. Session cheerfully asks her what she decided about her assistant. The session asks whether the girl should bring a dossier on pharmacist candidates. Hailey doesn't understand why the hell she has to work like this after her vacation. Hailey tells Sessions that she will choose an assistant blindly. Hailey decides to rely on the knowledge of pharmacists. Hailey suggests that the maid tell the Emperor that he should conduct the first round of selection for pharmacists, and Hailey will do the rest. The maid asks if everything Hailey does is based on feelings. A few days later, Sleck reports that, based on the interview results, only 7 made it through. Hailey has to talk to each of the candidates, and she is surprised how quickly everything goes. Hailey can only dream of peace. She didn't have time to look up information about the Emperor, and she has to attend the banquet today. Hailey picks up the interview results. Slack asks the girl to go further. Hailey realizes that Slack has to deal with all of this. Hailey decides that she can do it. The interview will be in the form of an exam, and they must prepare a medicine they are confident in. Hailey says she will be watching the outcome of the exam. Hailey asks if there are any questions for her. All the students say that they understand everything. Joshua is among the candidates, and Hailey is wondering what he is doing here. Hailey is surprised that Joshua is here. Hailey recalls the maid asking her if anyone could leave a resume. Hailey then blurted out that anyone could leave a message, even a slave. The session was shocked by her words, but agreed with her. During his last meeting with Hailey, Joshua showed an interest in potions. Hailey had no idea he could make potions. Hailey thinks he should become a pharmacist right away because of his cute face. Hailey believes she should be dispassionate. The exam begins and the students are ready to work. Hailey asks the nearest girl what she is doing, and she says she is making a hair-changing elixir. Hailey asks about the serpent's horn that is lying on the plate. Hailey is happy that the girl is making a magical snake stew to change her hair color, but another student thinks it's a waste of time. He is busy with an uncontrollable potion that helps him read the thoughts of the knights who protect the kingdom. The students begin arguing with each other about which potion is better, and Hailey realizes that the competition is quite fierce. One woman is generally like a fire-breathing dragon, and every person here is different. Others are here because of their rare skills. But Hailey is curious about what Joshua is cooking here. Joshua believes in staying true to the basics. Hailey knows that Joshua remains a constant character in the novel. She asks what Joshua is cooking, and he says that he is making medicine for wounds. Hailey is shocked. Joshua knows how to make potions for wounds, which means he didn't need her help that evening. Hailey tells him that she's in deep trouble, but Joshua tells her that thanks to her, his wounds have healed. Hailey is glad that Joshua is so kind and is grateful to him for his words. Hailey is itching to make Joshua her assistant, but Hailey can't judge by just a pretty face. Then, Hailey can't choose an assistant because all the potions are perfect. She understands that all potions are wonderful and students are useful. Sleck looks at the potions prepared by the assistants. Hailey decides to choose an assistant by chance. Hailey asks if the Emperor can choose a potion at random. The Emperor is shocked that the choice is now his. The Emperor scolds Sleck for not telling him about an important event. Hailey is shocked that Slack did not discuss this issue with the Emperor. Hailey says choosing an assistant is just a small thing. Hailey is amazed that the Emperor is worried about her, which is what he asks about. Hailey doesn't know what her relationship is with the Emperor. The Emperor asks the girl what he can do. Hailey asks him to choose one of the drugs at random. The Emperor thought for a moment he had never made a choice based on instinct before. The Emperor chooses a cure and Hailey is shocked. The Emperor asks Hailey what's wrong. Hailey runs out of the room, feeling awkward. The Emperor believes that he has always acted this way. Slek asks the Emperor why he chose a regular bottle and not other potions. Demian says he was guided by his feelings. The Emperor remembers accidentally touching Haley's hand. The Emperor remembers accidentally touching Haley's hand. He says that the potion he chose has the most tender memories. The party to welcome the new assistant begins. Haley tells her new assistant that she is happy to work with him and congratulates him on his victory. Haley believes she didn't expect the Emperor to choose Joshua. Joshua is ready to get to work. Haley gives him a new uniform for work. Joshua doesn't look her in the eyes and takes the uniform. The heroine thinks that he is shy. Haley extends her hand to him and offers to become her assistant. She says that she would be glad if he became her assistant. Joshua is surprised when he looks at the girl. He shakes her hand and says it is a great honor for him to work with her. We are shown the evening and the Emperor's office. The Emperor reviews the resume of a new assistant. Demian's face darkens. He has chosen Joshua's medicine. The maid asks him if he knows him. Demian says yes. Demian thinks Joshua has been getting on his nerves from the very beginning. Demian tells Slek that he is going to the Archduke's banquet. The Emperor orders Slek to find out everything about Joshua. We are shown a balcony with high tapestries. The banquet begins, which is reminiscent of Natasha Rostova's ball in Tolstoy's War and Peace. Haley believes that the cream of society has gathered at this banquet. Even though Haley accepted Aries' offer, she didn't want to hang around with his friends. She thinks that she will meet a couple and then leave. Haley feels like Aries is being overly suspicious of her. The girl believes that the Archduke wants something from her, since he is so courteous to her. According to Haley, Aries is always looking for a way to overthrow Demian. Haley thinks she's been drawn into the Game of Thrones, and a girl approaches her. Other girls follow her, also looking for the Archduke. Many girls came to meet Aries. One of them tells Haley that he doesn't have a fiancé. Aries is a war hero and attractive to girls, and he is also rich. Many girls are interested in Aries, but Haley doesn't care about them. While the girls are discussing Aries, Haley slowly tries to leave. Aries did a good job of surrounding himself with various rich people. Suddenly, someone calls out to the girl. Aries and some queen appear nearby. Many say that the queen is simply beautiful. Before us is the widow of Emperor Klya, and she is happy about her son's victory in the war. However, because of her, Aries has a difficult character, as Haley understands. Haley finds it much more difficult to leave the place. Aries suddenly notices her and winks at her. The girl is amazed that his gaze is intended for her. The girls around her start squealing because he looked in their direction. Haley can't escape. The girls surround Aries like a herd of cows. Haley wonders how she will get past the aristocrats. One of the servants distracts Aries' attention. Demian appears in a luxurious outfit and greets Aries. Aries greeted the Emperor. The Emperor talks to Aries, but notices him glancing towards Haley. Haley manages to hide from the Emperor. Haley believes that if the Emperor sees her, he will think that she is an accomplice of Aries. The girl decides to watch Demian. Demian just came by to give a gift. Many of the courtiers wonder why he came. The girl understands that he is being criticized behind his back. The Emperor had a worse reputation than she thought. But high society is still rock bottom. As soon as they overthrow the Archduke, they will take on the Emperor. Haley thinks it's not so much fun to wear a crown on her head. Haley thinks it's time for her to return to the palace. She thinks she should take a stroll through the Archduke's garden. Regarding architecture, she agrees with the Emperor. Haley is interested in the Archduke. He has even already sent spies to the court. No matter how much effort he puts in, he remains the villain of the novel, with someone else behind him. Haley feels sorry for him in some way. Haley hears someone talking to her. Aries appears nearby with glasses of wine, and he hasn't left her side for a minute. Haley wonders if it wouldn't be a shame if the Archduke disappeared. The Archduke tells her that he does everything for her, and Haley agrees. She doesn't really believe his words, and the Duke notices this. Haley tells him it would be rude to come here. Aries smiles slyly and says that she decided to attend the banquet out of politeness. He says it's a shame that it's like this, but he knows much more about her, and Haley gets tense. Aries leans towards her and tells her that it's a shame that her memories haven't returned. His eyes glow with an unkind light. Haley bristles and tells him that it looks like he knew her before. Aries tells her that rumors travel fast. Haley is puzzled as to how the Archduke knows this. Haley ponders what kind of relationship there was between the Archduke and the girl from the novel. Aries tells her that it's obvious she doesn't remember a lot of things. He also tells her that her caution is with her. Haley tells him in response that she feels like he knows more about her. Aries tells the girl that he will not reveal his intentions so easily. Haley asks what he wants, and he says to sort things out between them. Aries informs her that he cannot wait long for her memory to be restored. Haley believes that Aries is threatening her. Aries is completely different from who he used to be, and Haley cautiously asks what will happen if his memory doesn't return. Aries tells her that he will be sorry if she becomes a different person. He takes her by the chin and asks if she wants to argue. He tells her that after today, they will remain strangers. Haley realizes that he wants to pull her over to his side in the struggle for power. Aries says it's a shame that the girl doesn't want to go over to his side. Aries tells her that if she is looking for memories, she knows where to find him. Haley asks him not to get his hopes up. She tells him that she won't be of any use anymore. Aries shouts after her that she is coherent enough to make a decision. He tells her that people sometimes go to any lengths, even to the very end. According to Aries, people always choose him. We are transported to Haley's mansion. The hooded figure asks Aries why they can't deal with Haley now. Aries says that even if her memory returns, she will not rush to him now. He says that he really needs Haley. He says that for anything, details are needed and Haley will come to him. Haley, like any artist, wants to achieve the ideal, that is, to regain her memory and understand the intrigues, and Aries is her thread to this. Aries can't open the door. Aries says that he had difficulty finding a young man named Ruzan, who is his prisoner. We see him in the picture. Haley couldn't sleep all night because of the Archduke's words. Haley believes that she is not a fool to come to the Archduke. She wonders what might happen if she goes over to the dark side. Joshua's favorite pharmacist knocks on the door. Haley tells him that he came early. He replies that he just got up early. Our Yowie girl notes that Joshua's getting a new uniform. Haley tells him it's time to start, and Joshua asks where exactly. Haley suddenly realizes that she has no work for Joshua. Haley thinks they would have worked together on the inhibitor, but she did it all herself. Haley tells Joshua it's his first day on the job. She suggests starting a tour of the castle. Haley shows him the herbs she grew. She asks Josh about his past, and he reveals that he learned to prepare medicine from a pharmacist at the drugstore. Haley asks Joshua if there are many scientists in the Acetal Kingdom. Joshua is surprised that she is familiar with his kingdom, and the girl stops short. She was caught. Haley tries to get out of it and tells him that she has read a lot about the kingdom in books. Joshua, on the other hand, is glad that at least someone is talking about his kingdom. Haley is sad that the young man speaks about his homeland like that. She believes that there are herbs that grow in his house, and Joshua calms her down. Haley tells Joshua that the palace has many entrances and exits with rooms. He is glad that she showed him the palace. Haley looks at Joshua and is happy that she showed him the palace, and he likes everything. They approach a nice little house that looks like a hospital. Haley tells him she won't keep him. When Joshua offers to walk her, Haley refuses. She likes to walk alone. Haley says she loves birdsong and points to a nearby tree. She thinks there is one bird sitting there, but something is wrong. A familiar figure in a cloak sits on a tree. The figure slowly lands on the ground. Joshua asks sharply who he is. The figure replies that they want to talk to Haley. Joshua asks Haley if there are any enemies at court. Haley thinks it's weird that the Archduke sent him. Haley remembers that this has already happened, considering that Aries wants to make her an accomplice. Joshua tells him that the master did not teach him manners. The servant says that he has no choice but to use force. Joshua tells Haley to run home. He is ready to sacrifice himself so that Haley can tell the guards everything. Joshua has a gun, and he is ready to use it to make Haley escape. Haley knows that if there's a massacre here, she'll be in trouble. But suddenly another hooded figure appears, telling them that all the guards are unconscious. They tell Joshua and Haley to just follow them. Haley decides to go with them, but in return she demands that Joshua be released. Spies say he won't pass. Joshua gently reassures Haley. Joshua tells Haley that they are significantly outnumbered and will have to listen to them. One of the figures puts his sword back into his bosom and is glad that they have come to an agreement. Haley has no choice but to follow the spies. We are shown a palace similar to the Winter Palace in St. Petersburg. Cloaked figures lead Haley and Joshua there. Haley was forced to go with them and didn't know they would be taken to the mountains. She is led to a green carriage and ordered to enter. Joshua tells her that it is dangerous to go there alone and he will go with her. Haley thinks that the aristocrat is behind everything. Haley fears for Joshua's life and asks him to stay. She says that she will sort everything out and come back alive. Joshua tells her that he will wait for a full 10 minutes. Haley is invited inside the carriage. Haley is afraid to go to the kidnappers alone. In front of her sits an old man in a Chinese kimono with black and green. Haley is glad she's not going to die now. The old man apologizes for the antics of his men and introduces himself as the Marquis of Vanderbilt. He tells a disgruntled Haley that he asks her for a small favor. Vanderbilt asks the girl to bring a guide from his family when the emperor becomes ill again. Many families wanted to do this, but Demian did not want to see them. Haley replies that it's not that simple. Vanderbilt assures her that he will take care of the rest, but Haley is afraid to go to the execution after what she is asked to do. Haley tries to wriggle out of it, but Vanderbilt insists and is even willing to pay. Haley tells the Marquis that the Emperor's seizures do not mean he needs a guide, but the Marquis still insists. Haley tries to say no, but the Marquis thinks she agrees. He tells her that she has no choice and she will have to agree. Haley feels the atmosphere in the carriage change. The old man tells her that if she does not agree, he will have to persuade her using other methods. Meanwhile, Joshua is counting down the minutes and wants to get into the carriage. He guesses how many people are surrounding the carriage. He thinks he can handle all these people alone. Joshua wants to deal with the gang leader. But suddenly they all leave. Joshua suddenly realizes that the carriage is leaving. He's in shock Miss Haley is inside there. But Haley appears in front of him. Her face is gone. Joshua asks her if everything is okay. Haley falls right on top of Josh. Joshua screams about what happened inside, and Haley says she's having a hard time. Joshua asks what's wrong with her, and Haley says that's not what she's talking about. She shows Josh something, and we see a slight glow. Haley says it's heavy to carry a bunch of gold bars. Haley shows us gold bars, payment for the work. Joshua asks what they are, and Haley explains that the Marquis gave them to her. Haley tells Josh that she is confused too. At first, Haley thought he was going to threaten her, but the old man took a key from his robe and opened the chest with it. It contained gold bars, and Haley would get double the amount if the Emperor had a seizure. Josh asks Haley if this isn't a bribe. Haley tells Josh that she could have died. Haley believes that even though the Marquis bribed her, it will be easier for her to identify the traitor. Haley asks Josh if he was worried about her. He says that it would be better not to walk at night. Haley thinks his worried face is the best thing she's ever seen. Joshua takes something off his neck. He apologizes and gets too close to Haley. He puts something around Haley's neck. This is the whistle that Josh has had since he was a baby. Haley is confused as to why Joshua is giving her such an important thing. Joshua tells her to blow into it if she's in danger. He believes that the whistle is his gratitude for the tour of the palace. Haley believes Josh has a good heart and takes the whistle. Joshua tells the girl that it is too late now. Under the bright moon, through the dark forest, Joshua wants to walk Haley to the castle. On a friendly note, Haley says goodbye to Joshua. Joshua watches her for a long moment, the wind ruffling his caramel-colored hair. A figure with a scythe asks him why he decided to get involved in this. Joshua asks the figure, named Rudd, how long he has been following him, and Rudd replies that it has been since the palace tour. Rudd warns Josh to be careful and not to trust anyone. Joshua assures him that this is just the beginning and the pain will not repeat itself. He asks Rudd how things are outside, and he says that he has found the commander-in-chief. Rudd found survivors from Asatl and citizens too. Josh asks that if he finds out anything else, he should let him know immediately. Joshua understands that he must not forget why he came to the capital. He thinks it's stupid to help Haley, but he can't do anything about it. Joshua fell in love with sweet and kind Haley. Joshua believes that it is very similar to the homeland he misses. Meanwhile, rumors are spreading throughout the castle that the pharmacist is the Emperor's favorite. Some people are discussing why the Marquis was so rude to Hailey. They think it was stupid to be nice to Hailey. Hailey walks through the castle as if nothing happened. Hailey walks through the castle as if nothing happened. The couple whisper to each other and decide to talk to Hailey. Suddenly, the Earl of Pembroke appears in front of Hailey, deciding to talk to her about something. The man who spoke notes that rumors have spread. He suddenly notices that his interlocutor has gone somewhere. He's already talking to Hailey in earnest. The man with the mustache also wants to talk to Hailey first. Hailey is surrounded by strange characters who talk to her. A few days later, Hailey is inundated with gifts. The session says that all this was lying at the door to her chambers. Joshua tells Hailey that her popularity among the aristocrats has increased. He believes that rumors have spread about what happened in the mountains. Hailey realizes that the gifts are meant to bribe her. She decides to take everything apart first. Session suddenly says that she has some business with Joshua. Session says that he and Joshua will be back soon. Hailey says she doesn't understand why Session is in such a hurry and doesn't want to help her. There are even cookies in the box and Hailey can't resist. She happily bites off a piece of cookie. Hailey realizes that the cookies here are delicious. Hailey decides to look at other tasty bribes. Someone's voice tells her that she seems to be busy. It turns out that it was His Highness, who was passing by and decided to look in on her. He is interested in her suddenly increased popularity. He immediately notices the goodies on Hailey, and she gets caught. Looking at the Emperor, Hailey doesn't know how to explain everything to him. Hailey learns that all the gifts had family crests on them. The Emperor asks what she had to do for these gifts. Hailey is afraid that the Emperor will find out about the gold bars. The Emperor tells her that she is slipping her a guide from another family. Hailey is shocked. How does he know? She remembers that Session asked not to irritate the Emperor. Hailey decides to prove to him that she is on his side. The Emperor is shocked by her words about trust. The Emperor is shocked by her, and Hailey cannot understand him. He notices the whistle on her chest. The girl honestly tells him how she got the whistle. The Emperor asks her about Joshua. Hailey tells him that he is handsome and kind. He jealously tells her that they have become too close to exchange gifts. Hailey thinks the Emperor is jealous. Hailey asks the Emperor to be kinder to Joshua. Hailey slyly asks the Emperor if he would like to see him alone. Demian says he would like to know what kind of person Joshua is. The girl believes that she was right and imagines a lot of things. Demian reminds her that she has decided to always be on his side. Hailey says yes, of course, but she doesn't understand why he suddenly became kinder. Hailey recalls that in the novel, Demian was interested in who was on his side. He didn't understand about the gold and didn't ask. Hailey wonders if she's really going to take all these gifts. Demian asks Sleck how his investigation into Joshua is going, and he replies that it is ongoing. Sleck says that his past is in the Archduke's files, and that is what is causing the problems. According to the Emperor, Joshua is not only Hailey's assistant, but also an enemy spy from Ares. He thinks Joshua is a very annoying guy. However, the maids tried his medicine, and there were no side effects. The Emperor asks if Sleck has told Callium about him, and he says that he has not yet told Callium about him. The Emperor wonders if there are any wounded knights now. Sleck whispers something to the Emperor about Joshua. The Emperor says that he has completely forgotten about something. We are shown a girl, apparently Louise, whose passions, in the opinion of the Emperor, are just beginning. The maid timidly asks her what she would order to be done with the runaway slave. She watches him lying beaten and bloodied on the lawn and says nothing. Louise says it needs to be cured and used again. Before us is the second princess, Louise Llewellyn Clares, Demian's sister and quite the sadist. We are shown the roof of a building that looks like an observatory. Joshua asks her if it was hard for her to sort out the gifts, and she says it wasn't hard. She asks where he went with Session, and he says that he went to see her friends. The girls surrounded Josh and almost squeezed him. They also asked Josh about what the Northerners were doing. But everything went well, and Hailey is glad that he managed to show that the Northerners are good people. Hailey goes to the healer Callium to bring herbs for potions. They approach his chambers and Hailey asks if he is inside. The doctor opens the door and asks if she has any ointment that heals wounds, the more the better. Hailey replies that there is ointment, but it is not enough, and he asks to take it. It's not a pretty picture for Haley. All the beds are filled with slaves who are injured, and Haley asks what happened. The doctor tells her that Louise forces poor slaves to fight against dogs in the arena. She is very evil and cruel, and even the emperor was powerless to stop her. He points to a man and tells Haley that he will be taken to the princess in 2 days. Haley takes out the ointment and thinks it's really cruel. Haley recalls that in the original novel, she mocked the emperor, and readers were unhappy with her. Haley could not even imagine that they would see her handiwork. The doctor asks the girl to prepare Asatlev's pain relief potions. Haley tells him that all the necessary medicines are in the greenhouse. She wants to bring them, but Joshua's face twists beyond recognition when he sees the maimed slaves.